Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to begin the lesson off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Yahweh
Yahweh,
Shai,
Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Rachakadosh.
Kudash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Back with another lesson through the spirit, man. As I mentioned in one of my previous lessons earlier this week,
What the fuck? Salaki. There you
as I mentioned in one of my previous lessons earlier this week, we was gonna try and start doing our joint lessons again this week. So the water how about Shimon shot for that. Brother and I were able to link up once again and continue to bring these lessons to y'all, Lord willing, on a weekly basis. And then as far as the ones I have going on with the other brothers as well, Dapyar Abad, I'll try and get those to you as well on Fridays. But nonetheless, today's topic we're gonna be going into the truth about the Renaissance period, the Renaissance era, and iconoclasm. And we're thinking about making this into a series, maybe where we go into, saying history once a week or something like that. Could happen, could not. Could be that topic or something else. Who knows? But as right now, I'm just gonna go into first what is iconoclasm and how it connects to the Renaissance period. So I asked you, I said, what is iconoclasm? Iconoclasm is the destruction of images or symbols, typically for religious or political reasons, stemming from the belief that these objects are wrong or harmful. It says it literally means image breaking and is carried out by people called iconoclasts. The term has also come to describe anyone who challenges established beliefs or institutions. And in religious terms, it says the motivation. Iconoclasts often believe that creating and worshiping images is a form of idolatry forbidden by their faith, such as a strict interpretation of the Ten Commandments. They may feel that images prevent a direct connection with the divine. So some examples of it is Byzantine iconoclasm, says a historical period in the Byzantine Empire uh, during the eighth and ninth period, or the eighth and ninth centuries, where the imperial government banned and destroyed religious icons. Protestant Reformation. Some Protestant reformers destroyed images in churches in an effort to return to what they saw as a pure early form of Christianity. Modern events, the Taliban's destruction of the Umayyan Buddhists in Afghanistan and ISIS destruction of ancient sites in Palmyra are modern examples. Do we want to go into political? Yeah, we can do that. I'll read this. Political and secular iconoclasm. Motivation political iconoclasm involves destroying monuments and symbols to erase the memory of past regime or to attack a hated institution. Some examples: the uh, obliteration of some pharaohs' visages by their successors in ancient Egypt, the destruction of images of kings during the French Revolution, and modern day actions like the removal of Confederate monuments in the United States. So I'm gonna go back a little bit and go into the Byzantine Empire a little bit. So the Byzantine Empire, also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire centered on Constantinople which Constantinople is. Well, let's go. I'm gonna read that down lower. Let's see. During during the late antiquity of the Middle Ages, which the Middle Ages was what we refer to as the time where we came into rulership around the 400 AD period, lasting to around the 1400 AD period, like around the time, you know what I'm saying, where Cristobal Colon and them came on the scene and Edomites started to gain their power back or their dominion, also referred to as the Dark Ages, which is a time in the Middle Ages right after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, which was the demise of the Edomites, spoken of in the Bible. Having survived the events that caused the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD, which was a chain reaction from things that the Emperor Nero did. I actually was looking at a video concerning like basically how he caused or was a part of the demise of the Roman Empire because he was one of the last one of the last Roman emperors before the Western Roman Empire, but demise. But he wasn't like the last one that was there that made it fall. He basically uh he basically lessened the value of the currency, which led to emperors after him making it less and less valuable to where their money became worthless, which is what we seeing unfold right now. Um, Having survived the events that caused the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD, which, like I said, was around the 400s. When they fell, that's when we came into power. Which the brother, if you could pull that precept up, says it endured until the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire in 1453. The term Byzantine Empire was coined only after its demise. The citizens used the term Roman Empire and called themselves Romans. Um, Constantinople was a city that was founded by the Emperor Constantine. Let me go into this though. I'm gonna read this next paragraph and then I'm gonna go back. It says during the early centuries of the Roman Empire, the western provinces were Latinized, but the eastern parts kept their Hellenistic culture, which the Hellenistic culture came from the Greeks, which we went into. Myself and the brothers have went into, uh, you know what I'm saying, into those lessons and stuff like that, talking about the Hellenization of the Israelites over there who were who were under Greek captivity at the time, uh, referred to as Gentiles and stuff like that, which the word goes into that word Hellene, which is where you get Hellenization from. Israelites over there who consider themselves to be Greeks. It speaks on that in the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 3 and 4, on how we got how our people. I don't want to say we as in myself and the brothers, but how our people got engulfed into the Greek way of life through a wicked ass Israelite named Jason. Constantine number one legalized Christianity. So he was the first emperor who spread forth Christianity on a mass scale. Constantine, which is this weird looking dude right here, legalized Christianity and moved the capital to Constantinople. Theodosius the first made Christianity the state religion, and Greek gradually replaced Latin for official use. The empire adopted a defensive strategy and throughout its remaining history experienced recurring cycles of decline and recovery. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of the Byzantine Empire and stuff like that. Just know that this empire was going on around the time where we came into power. Um, remember, the Christians, uh, that word came from. Israelites being what you want to say, being mocked, right, for following Mashiach. They called them Christians at Antioch. It says that in the book of what is that? Either Acts or Amos.
The Book of Acts.
Okay, that's what I thought. Acts.
Yeah,
Um,
word Christian is mentioned three times in the Bible. I believe it says Christians and Christian, but it comes up a total of three times. And there was a derogatory term that was placed on us, like the brothers bringing out back in the ancient Roman Empire. And then it went from a derogatory slang term to an actual pagan religion, pretty much. So it went from us being demonized for following Yahushai to uh, it being something that would conquer the world and take the world by storm in a in a pagan religious sense, pretty much. But yeah.
yeah, and that was brought forth through Constantine, like I was saying. He pushed that shit out on a mass scale and indoctrinated, like you said, pagan doctrines. I got a clip right here depicting it, but I'm gonna just read it off. Trinity, Easter, Lent, Sunday worship, Christian cross, Christian fish, things of that nature. But like I said, I'm not about to go deep into the Byzantine Empire. That's not what we're here for. I just want to give y'all a little bit of background because it was iconoclasm going on in that time. Now, the second question we asked
Oh,
was,
Salakia. Can I bring this up real quick before you
oh
go?
yeah, Con, I forgot about that. Salaki.
No, it was on some you already said pretty much.
What the scripture I asked you to pull out?
No, not that one. I do have that pulled up, but not that one.
Okay.
So when the brother brought out and he went into the definition of iconoclasm, and it kind of said iconoclast, some however they pronounced it, um, how they had their religious beliefs and they didn't believe in, they basically did what they did because they didn't believe in the worshiping, or not in the worshiping, but of the creation of images. They just didn't believe in the creation of images, right? So that's why they did what they did, according to the definition that the brother went into.
Yeah, it say creating and worshiping. Yep.
Right. Yep. So they say creating and worshiping. See, the worshiping aspect concerning the first 10 commandments and etc. Okay. But creating, there's nothing wrong with creating images. The word image and images comes up a millions of times in the Bible. Now, it's mainly comes up as what you see on the screen right here. It says graven image. So I'll put up the definition of a graven image. It says a carved idol or representation of a god used as an object of worship. So there's nothing wrong. I want to say this to everybody out there, because a lot of people try to come at brothers for having pictures, of what Yahweh Shai or what the Most High Yahweh would look like, and they try to say, no, y'all are worshiping graven images. No, my nigga, we're not worshiping these images. I have yet to see a brother get on his knees and worship these images of what Yahweh and Yahweh Shai look like. But there's nothing wrong with creating these images, right? You're just not supposed to worship these images, man. That's it. So the creation of images is not going off. So that shows you how stupid Esau is. Nigga is fucking retarded. But you got it.
Yeah, you have people literally who worship, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, images, man. Hold on, let me see. I was trying to go into, let me see, Crawford references, Bibles. I could have sworn it said something about graven images in there. I might be tweaking though. This stay on course. Salaki, it's not on me, is it? Oh yeah, it is. All right, I'm finna go back. So the second question we asked was, did iconoclasm happen during the Renaissance period? Oh yeah, did you want to get that precept or circle back to it?
Slocky, I couldn't unmute. Uh, was it Revelation 20?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had that one up.
Okay, which one did you want me to get?
Matter of fact, let me say this first, and then we can
Hmm.
get you can just tie it all together. All right, it says yes, iconoclasm occurred during the Renaissance period, most notably through the Protestant Reformation and building storm in the 16th century, which is in the 1500. Uh, Also during 1524, that's when the letter J was invented or created. It stemmed from the letter I, and you know what I'm saying. Going into that, I want to say in the 1600s, that was when they first started coming out with that word Jesus Christos, or Jesus Christ, as most people like to say. It says, while earlier instances of iconoclasm happened in the Byzantine Empire, the Renaissance saw new waves of image destruction tied to religious reforms, including the bonfire of vanities in 15th century Florence, which is in Italy, and large-scale outbreaks in the Low Countries in 1566, right? So what this is saying is remember I'm telling y'all, right, that period of we were in a period of rulership from the 400s to the 1400s, right? So directly after that, which is the Renaissance period, the rebirth, you see the 15th century, which is around the 1400s, and the 16th century around the 1500s is when they started destroying these religious images and stuff like that. That's why you have people like Vladimir Putin bringing out Russian icons because they had images of us over there when we was in rulership and stuff like that in they archives, which they don't want people to know about, or they don't want that truth to come out over here in the West. But you cannot stop the truth from coming out, man, because all of these things will be brought to light in due time. It says key events of iconoclasm during the Renaissance. It says the bonfire of the vanities, 1497, led by the Dominican friar uh, Girolamo Savonarola, Salaki Savonarola. This event in Florence saw the public burning of thousands of objects considered sinful, including art, books, and other valuables. What does that sound like? If you all ever read or seen the movie Fahrenheit 451, it's a movie of them burning books and destroying historical facts and putting people into a digital world and saying that books were bad for society because they didn't want people to learn. They want to control what they seen and couldn't see.
You said which movie again?
Fahrenheit 451.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
Yep. Protestant Reformation iconoclasm, early 1520s. Reformers like Andreas Karlstadt and Wittenberg spurred. It sounds like some type of German. I don't know. Where is that at? Wittenberg. I don't feel like going into that right now. Wittenberg spurred. God damn, I did not mean to push that. Salaki spurred the destruction of religious images, arguing they were idols and against the second commandment. Now, what's the second commandment?
It's in Exodus 20.
What he just went into. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven. That's what I was looking for when I was searching up Leviticus.
Oh yeah, it's in Exodus 20. It gives the first 10.
Exodus 20 and 4. You must not make for yourself an idol or any image or salakia, an idol of any kind or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. Now, mind you, like the ox said, this how stupid they are, which that they logic is flawed because if you burn all these images and all these religious facts and you didn't want nobody worshiping them and stuff like that for what y'all said it was for, y'all went back and just changed them and made more images. That don't even make sense, does it?
Esau is the biggest hypocrite known to man.
Oh, I'm in the NLT. I'm sure like what the hell? Salakia. Thou shalt not make any thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath.
They'll show you some of those other translations, though they're good. Most of the time, they go off. They still go off. That's why we say stick to the KJV until you got enough knowledge up in your noggin. Then go into the other translations, as they go off sometimes. The KJV is the most authentic um, translation of the scriptures, which honestly, the KJV is not even a translation, it's a transliteration. The other translations that come out of that, like NLT and IV, those are translations because it's different wording of the same language. But a transliteration is literally the transferring of a whole entire language. All right. So that KJV is a transliteration. It was the first Bible ever transliterated into English. So that's why we say KJV is the most accurate scripture.
Yep, under King James.
And King James was a Jake. He wasn't no fucking Mo and no little child toucher like people try to demonize him to be. He was a Jake.
And that was around the same time.
And look at that bullshit.
That was around the time, like right after what we talking about right now.
Look at how they got King James looking. Iconoclasm.
I wonder if they have a true image of him on here. Most likely not.
No, it's somewhere. You just got to search deeply for it.
Yeah, I have to do a better.
What's that one all the way on the right? No, go up. Yeah, right there. No, that ain't the same thing. It's about somebody else.
I got some images though I could put on here
Man.
that YouTube might try and take down. But let me go back to that
DJ.
though. Let me see, Slack. Graven image, idol, or image, right? And we know an idol will be something that you worship, of course, or something that you look up to. Going back. Oh, damn. I closed that out and did not mean to. Let me just relook it up. It's fine. Yeah. Where was I at? Did it just change?
Yeah, most definitely changed. I ain't gonna.
I'm like, I'm thinking I'm tripping. Hold on, let me see
Yeah,
if I
I
can
didn't
turn the
remember
book.
all that other stuff being there. Yeah.
Oh, this some bullshit, man. Hold on, bro. No way it just did this. Usually you can just boom and pull the damn thing back up. Now this thing don't want to pull up recently closed tabs. It's fine. The fuck shit just happened. BS. All right, let me continue reading, man. Um, Iconoclasm occurred during the Renaissance period, most notably as a major event of the 16th century Protestant Reformation, which included the Dutch Beetle Storm of 1566. This wave of destruction was fueled by religious reformers who rejected religious images as idols, while earlier iconoclastic movements also happened in the 8th and 9th century in the Byzantine Empire. So making an image is not idolatry. Worshiping the image, that is idolatry. But an image itself is not an idol. Iconoclasm during the Reformation, 16th century, religious reformers like John Calvin, which is where Calvinism comes from, and Huldrych Zwingli reviewed religious images as idolatrous and against the Ten Commandments. Building storm in the Netherlands, this led to widespread outbreaks of violence against religious art in churches and monasteries, starting with the image storm in August 1566. So my question is this. Okay. So they sure was just talking about the burning books and stuff like that, and now they don't want to pull it up. Oh crap, man, it's some bull junk. The heart of overstated the burning of art and other sinful items was considered a form of iconoclasm. Theological debate between iconoclasts and iconophiles, image venerators. All right, you want me to go into the images or let's see. This an image right here. Jesus Christos.
Yeah, your infamous Caesar Borgia. Fucking nigga was a mo. Yeah, man. The Borgia family, the first crime family.
Mm-mm-mm. We're gonna go into the damnatio memoria as well. But I didn't talk long enough, man. Let me see. I'm gonna pull this precept out and then hand it off to the brother.
You could you could start from go up and then start from one and then I'll tell you when to skip.
All right. Book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand.
Yeah, now that bottomless pit there, It's talking about over there in the land of Europe. All right, it's talking about over in Europe, and that great chain is talking about slavery. All right, captivity, and this is going to start tying into the Dark Ages when Jake started coming up in power. You know, as the brother was bringing out about the Byzantine Empire and things of that sort, the Eastern Roman Empire, which was Jake mainly, was mainly Jake, you know, overpowered the West, and they basically took over and ruled for approximately a period of 1,000 years, a millennia, right? So that bottomless pit, which is also mentioned in Revelation 11, that's Europe, all right? And that great chain is captivity, and that bottomless pit also goes into how over there in the east, a lot of that land is barren,
Yeah.
right? Barren, yeah. So especially it goes into the land of Israel also being made barren. Yeah, if you didn't know, the Tiny Top has the professional victims. They have to import, they have to import crops and all that stuff because they can't till the land because it doesn't prosper with them. Because why does that happen? Because the true people aren't over there. All right. You also see another account of this when you go into the book of, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Second Kings 17, if I'm not mistaken. But when the Assyrians, yeah, you could go there and check it just to make sure. I think it's Second Kings 17, where the Assyrians was removing northern kingdom Israelites out of the land of Samaria. That's how you eventually get to when you go to John the fourth chapter concerning the woman at the well. I call her the bitch at the well. She doesn't deserve to be called no woman, but a woman at the well talking to Yahushai and how she was a Samaritan woman, but she was really a heathen, right? So that's how you get to that point because in the land of Samaria, which is a land over there in our land of Israel, Assyria was removing a lot of northern kingdom up out of there and replacing it with heathens, right? So that's it. Started 24, Baba Bashar.
The book of Second Kings, chapter 17, and verse 24, the title reads, Cities of Israel filled with strangers. It says, And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord Yahweh. Therefore the Lord Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them because they know not the manner of the God of the land.
And the land, our land, because it's our land. All right, I don't care who gets mad at it. It's our land given to us by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's our land, right? It's like a human body in a sense. So you know how your body rejects what's not good. You know, you may eat something bad or whatever, and you start to throw it up or regurgitate it. You know, in a sense, or you get real sick until that parasite is out of your body. In a sense, right? Our land is the same way. When there are parasites, when there are viruses over there, all right. This is not medical misinformation. This is not medical information, by the way, Esau. Um, I'm just talking shit. Right? But you know, I'm docile. I don't know shit. Okay, so just know that, Esau. Right? But you know, it spews it out. So that's kind of what was happening because we weren't in that land anymore. Now you still had some Israelites there. They weren't, you know, they weren't able to remove every single Israelite out of there. But a hell of a lot did get removed. They did remove a hell of a lot of Northern Kingdom up out of that land, right, and replace it with a lot of heathens. All right. So you can continue though.
The king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land.
And that's how you lead to the book of John, the fourth chapter, concerning the bitch at the well. I gotta say it like that because shit, that's what she is. The bitch at the well who was talking to Yahushua, who was a Samaritan. She was a Samaritan woman, right? That's how you got that. But she was really a heathen. She didn't go back to an Israelite, even though she dwelt in the land. She wasn't an Israelite, right? Because and that's how you lead to that. Because as the scripture just read, they got a priest among our people who taught them the manner of the land, so they will be able to dwell there without getting torn to shreds, right? And so the land could be fruitful in some way, shape, or form, even though it still wasn't very fruitful even after. Um, but you could keep reading.
Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel and taught them how they should fear the Lord Yahweh. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth-Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the
I mean,
and the
that's cool there.
Sepharvites.
Yeah, that's cool there. I mean, the point been made. The point is, uh, why the land over there is so barren, and it's because we ain't there, right? The land of Europe, the land of Israel, etc. It's because we're not there. It's because heathens are there, and this is a part. This is what sparked all of that. You know, the scriptures say a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Ashdod is a city over there in our land of Israel, and bastard means heathen, and heathens are indeed dwelling there, right? So you can go back to Revelation 20. I really wanted to make the point on why that was also is when it got called a bottomless pit that was twofold.
Revelation 20 and 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan,
Right, and
and
that
bound him
dragon,
1,000 years.
and that dragon is the Roman Empire. All right, it's the ancient Roman Empire, which is today known as the modern day Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire, which is started by the Renaissance era, right, which is made up of the NATO and the EU. All right, well, the seven heads, which is the NATO, and the 10 horns, which is the EU, which means Europe. All right, the NATO with the seven
European Union.
heads, yeah, the European Union, and it started off with 10, but now it's like up in like 30 or something now, probably a little more than that
It's
in the
like
European
27,
Union.
28, something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
around there.
con, yep. And then with the NATO, you have those seven nations, which were the Brits, the Spaniards, the French, Rome, Greece, Germana Major, and Germana Minor, right? Which Germana just means Germany, right? So there you have that. So that's what it consists of today. And when it says the devil and Satan, it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Devil just means deceiver, all right, slanderer, accuser, and the word Satan just means adversary. All right. So it's not talking about the spiritual demon. A lot of Christians get scriptures like this, along with Revelation 12 and 7 through 8 mixed up and try to say it was a war in heaven and Satan and the demons got cast out of heaven and they started coming down on earth and they start fucking bitches. And then you had these big giants. It's fucking retarded. Especially when you go to the book of Matthew and Yahweh Shai quite literally says angels can't have sex. So it's stupid. You talk
Yeah, they
about
can't eat. They can't do stuff like that.
yeah, they're celestial beings, as it goes into in the book of First Corinthians 15. They're celestial, right? A celestial being is not like a terrestrial being that can, you know, have sex and eat and all of that stuff. They don't do that. They don't even breathe air. So there you have it. But you could go on. Oh, and it says, and bound him up 1,000 years. That's going into the start of the dark ages, right? And you can
And
go
cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up
right.
and set a seal upon him, and he should deceive the nations no more.
Right. So this is that millennia of the dark ages where Jake started ruling over there in Europe. You keep going.
You got to realize the deception that they have even goes back to the Greek Empire because they weren't even the original Greeks. The original Greeks were the Japhites, which are the
Yep.
so-called Pacific Islanders, like the Hawaiians and stuff like that.
And the original Romans were Japhites.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
The 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that, he must be loosed a little season.
And then that little season comes when you jump down to verse 7, right? Because verse 4 goes into a different time of a different millennia period, right? So it's kind of in the book of Revelation, how John the Revelator got these visions from the Lord. It was kind of like he was having time freezes and he was like jumping around in time. You have to know how to actually decipher that, all right? Because you could get caught up thinking this is talking about the same 1,000 year period in verse 4, but it's not. That's talking about in the kingdom of heaven, right? But you could jump down to verse 7 to stay so we stay within the time frame.
It says, Book of Revelation 20 and verse 7, title being Satan freed slash doomed. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison
Right,
and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
right, and they went out and they started deceiving the nations, man. Now that's when we get into the Renaissance era. All right, this is when they started when they came back into power and basically took Jake out of power. All right, and that was the spirit of the Lord that happened because we wasn't doing shit but wickedness any damn way during the Dark Ages, calling ourselves Moors and all that bullshit. So the Lord ended up fucking us up for it, and rightfully so. And now we're here, right? But that sparked the Renaissance era, all right, which is mean. The word Renaissance means rebirth, all right, a period of being reborn, all right. And yeah, that's pretty much it concerning that one. I was thinking of one. Damn, it was just in my head. Fuck. Damn, I hate when that shit happened, bro. It was just in my head. It was a scripture. Fuck, man. We need new bodies. We need new bodies, bro. It's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to me. Damn. 1,000 years loosed out of his prison. Should go to deceive the nations, four quarters of the earth. God will make up. Damn. Ain't that about a bitch, man? It is what it is. It is what it is, bro. It was another scripture I was gonna go to. I fucking forgot. It'll come back. Oh, call Bashmel Shah. Can you go to the Apocrypha? Can you go to First Maccabees 1? Why y'all Bashmel Shah? Uh, you could read verse 1, and I'm gonna have you jump down.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And the reader says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chedum, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
So this is the beginning. This is the first major empire of Edom. All right. Edom had little spurts and periods of time where they, in a sense, had sovereignty, as you would say. But this is like that first real deal time period where Esau ruled. Right. And it started with Alexander the Great. Right. You get that when you go to Revelation 13, starting the first and the second verse, where it says that leopard. Right. The head was the leopard, talking about Alexander the Great, and then it says the tail or the feet of it was like unto a bear, talking about Russia, because it's going to destroy this bitch, right? So can you scroll down to actually you could just continue reading down. There ain't no point in skipping it.
And many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
All right.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable,
Now
and had
those Salakia, those servants were talking about his four top generals at the time. He had a lot of generals, but he had a top four. All right, four of his top generals who were entrusted to him, and their names were Seleucus, Cassander, Lysimaeus, and Ptolemy. Right, so that's what it's going to go into here. Those servants that were honorable. There you go.
wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Yep,
So
it's four different kingdoms.
Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
Took over and then got his ass knocked off by the Lord. And that just shows you he was just set up to fulfill this prophecy here. But you could go ahead. I'm about to
And
make
his servants and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
So as you see, a lot of this stuff started way back when, even before the Renaissance era in about 1400 AD. A lot of this stuff started even back in the Greek, during the Greek Empire. Is this when the Edomites really started taking over? Because when Alexander was still alive, it wasn't like, yeah, he took over and he was Hellenizing everybody, right? But he wasn't going like crazy, crazy. You know what I mean? Because he still had a reverence of who? None other than the Israelites. He still, in a sense, reverenced the Israelites and had very high respect for the Israelites, right? Even following our customs to an extent. I think one of his mentors, uh, what was that nigga name? His mentor. Let me open up these scriptures. Let me see. I have it written down somewhere. Uh, Aristotle. Aristotle was Alexander the Great's mentor, right? And he taught him Hebrew and all of that stuff. And Alexander was calling on the name of the Lord, all that stuff. Now, Alexander the Great, he was still a wicked ass Edomite. He was a Mo, all that stuff, but he still had reverence towards the Israelites. So it wasn't too hostile. We wasn't going through a lot of hostility when he was alive. But when he died, that's when shit started getting wicked. That's when Esau really showed who Esau was. Right? That's why it says many evils were multiplied in the earth. And then it starts going into Antiochus, that wicked bitch ass, hoe ass, pussy ass, bitch made nigga, Antiochus Epiphany, right? Starting to rule and shit, right? And then could you go to the third chapter and the 48th verse real quick? And then you can get what you was about to.
You want me to get verse 10?
Verse 10. Yeah, you can. Yep.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a wicked ass Edomite right there. And that's why when you read on in the Maccabees, he died a very brutal death, where he basically rotted from the inside out and had worms eating him from the inside out. The nigga smelled so bad, his servants didn't even want to come near him. Then they told this nigga he stunk. Lord fucked his ass up real bad. Yeah, he's the reason we have a feast of dedication, because he destroyed the temple with his bitch ass. Right?
You want me to go where?
3 and 48. And this is still during the Greek Empire. So this show Esau been doing this shit. It didn't just start in the Renaissance era. All right, go ahead.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And it reads, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So they started changing the images even back then. All right, that's where you had Serapis Christus come onto the scene through Ptolemy. I think it was Ptolemy the first. All right,
Yeah,
where
he
he
said
created
something about
Serapis
Ptolemy the
Christus.
first in that first chapter.
Yeah, where it started, where he brought in Serapis Christus, right? Which in turn, down the line, now you have Jesus Christ. It started with Serapis Christus, all right, during the Greek Empire from Ptolemy the first, all right. So they started changing the images, and things of that sort. So iconoclasm is right here in the scriptures, whether you want to believe it or not, Barakatah. Whether you want to believe it or not, iconoclasm is in these scriptures, right? A lot of people don't agree with it, but it is what it is. It's right here, right? The Renaissance era, the Renaissance art, all right, the images being changed, all of that is right here in the scriptures.
This is not a good. Look at this. Look at this translation from
The
the GNT.
Gentiles would have consulted their idols in such a situation, but the Israelites unrolled the book of the law to search for God's God. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Look at that shit.
Yo, yeah, I told you these other translations go off, man. We had a guy come up to the camp a few weeks ago when we said you got to deal with the KJV mainly because it wasn't, it was the most accurate. It's the most accurate, the most accurate version of the Bible. Nigga said, well, the KJV was a translation too. No, bitch, it's a transliteration. This shows you the fault of a translation, how it can be faulty. Because what the hell? That's not what happened. Look at what this says, and then look at what that say. Esau and his trickery. Hey, nigga, you can't get us though, bitch. We see you, little nigga. and the GNT usually be good on they translations. That shit terrible. That's terrible work. Yeah, bro. Did you have something else you was gonna get?
Yeah, I was gonna tell them Septimius Severus.
Oh yeah.
That was about it. So Septimius Severus was a Roman emperor back in the Roman Empire. Uh, and as you can see, this is a depiction of his bust, which is just a sculpture of the shoulders and the head of a person. And he actually was a Jake ruling in the Roman Empire. And this is an image of him in that time period right here, as well as this one. But they try and make it seem as if all these Roman emperors were just Edomites or so-called white people. So this image is called the Severan Tondo, and it reads the Severan Tondo or Berlin Tondo from circa 200 AD is one of the few preserved examples of panel painting from classical antiquity, depicting the first two generations of the imperial Severan dynasty. The Severan dynasty, sometimes called the Septimian dynasty, ruled the Roman Empire between 193 and 235 BC. It was it's like in AD. It was founded by the Emperor Septimius Severus and Julia Domna, his wife, when Septimius emerged victorious from the civil war of 193 to 197, which began the year of the five emperors. Now, continuing on, whose members ruled the Roman Empire in the late second and early third centuries. It depicts the Roman Emperor Septimius Severus, 193 to 211, with his wife, the Augusta Julia Domna, and their two sons and co-Auguste Caracalla, which you can tell even him, he looked like a nigga. He looks like a nigga. He looks like a nigga. And Gita, he also looked somewhat like a Jake. The face of one of the two brothers has been deliberately erased, which is talking about this one, very likely as part of damnatio memoria. Now, what is damnatio memoria? Damnatio damnatio memoria is a modern Latin phrase meaning condemnation of memory or damnation of memory, indicating that a person is to be excluded from official accounts. There are and have been many routes to damnatio memoria, including the destruction of depictions, the removal of names from inscriptions and documents, and even large scale rewritings of history. This is just another word for iconoclasm. So, iconoclasm didn't just happen during this time period, it's happened throughout history, man.
Hmm. Esau is everybody but himself. You know, he's the ancient Vikings. You know, no nigga, you was them pirates. Nigga, that was you. You know, boning each other in the backside with peg legs. That was you. You know, but they try to say they were the ancient Vikings. No, that was Jake. They were the ancient samurai. Nah, that was Jake. You know, they try to say that they were the Japhites. That was Jake. Even those Russians over there, they Edomites, but who was there first? That was that was a Japhite. That was Japheth, right? And I think I just misspoke, but I mentioned the other one, but that was Japheth before as well. If I said Jake by mistake, but you know, just taking over, acting like they are everybody that they're not. Right? They're everybody but themselves. They're everybody but the Edomites. You know, I'm reading this book. What the fuck is that book?
That's where, what I'm saying, them breaking noses and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's also a similar form of that as well, man. As they always say, man, the victors write history.
Right. Salakia, bear with me. It's all the way in the bottom. Shit, me. Yeah. I'm reading this book here. Who was Esau Edom? And it goes into the Balfour Declaration and all of that stuff. How Esau's being everybody but himself. Now this guy's going off in this book a lot, but also a lot of the information in it is true. It's like some you gotta eat the chew the meat and spit the bones. But yeah, Esau, he's everybody but himself. You know, he's the ancient Christians, right? He's the Israelites, right? Even though he wouldn't dare call himself an Israelite, but you know, he's everybody but himself.
call lawyer. Hold on, sure.
This nigga.
This is not what I'm talking about.
This nigga is such a bitch. I'm gonna tell you after. God damn.
We talking about me?
Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you after. It's fucking
Oh
stupid ass nigga.
man, I'm finna. I want to pull out these. I got so many images on my phone, man. Cause I was trying to, cause that them changing the likeness of the images is just a form of them whitewashing everything. It's the reason why these jakes are dark, man. Saint Nicholas. I didn't even mean to click on that. Yeah, we could go ahead and wrap it up, man.
Yeah, could you go to Revelation 13 and start at the it goes into it when you go to one when you start at one, but I want you to jump down to like verse 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1, it says,
No,
The beast,
I said it started at verse 1, but I want you to jump down to verse 11.
the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon.
So that beast once again that's going into the Roman Empire, right? And he had two horns. It spake like a lamb. Now those two horns, like you have today, you have Republicans and you have Democrats, right? So that was going into the plebeians and the patricians. It's locked in. That was going into the plebeians and the patricians, right? Which is the Romans and the Democrats today. And it says, and it spake like a dragon, right? And you can assume what that means. So you can go to verse 12.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and
Right?
causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed.
Now that's the point. Whose deadly wound was healed. So now, how was that deadly wound healed? Because the Roman Empire, when you go to Daniel 7, it didn't go out by fire like it was supposed to, right? So that means that prophecy has not been fulfilled yet, but it did fall by way of a tactical strike, okay? But it didn't go down as prophesied by way of fire and brimstone in Daniel 7. So it had to be brought back into power so that prophecy can actually take place, which would be the lake of fire, World War III, Armageddon, Valley of Yehoshaphat, whatever you want to call it, right? Nuclear warfare. So that can actually take place. So this is going into the Renaissance period. That's how it was healed through the Renaissance era. Okay, could you go to that scripture and
And brother Salaki,
mhm.
he meant the plebeians and the patricians.
What I say?
You said plebeian.
Yeah, I meant the plebeians. Yeah,
They knew
plebeians.
what you meant
Yeah,
though.
yeah, kind of plebeians and patricians. Yeah,
You
but
said first.
could you go to 12 and 9? Is it also in 12 and 9 at backs what we were bringing out at first in 20?
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Right. So he was cast out into the earth, and his angels cast out with him. So he was cast out of power. He was put into captivity, and that's what's going to actually come to pass. There's prophecy. But the point I wanted to make was how he deceived the whole world. And one of the ways this devil deceived the whole world was during the Renaissance era through what? Iconoclasm, where he changed the images. He basically, quote unquote, whitewashed everything, right? And made them look like his own, and gave people a false narrative on how the true people actually looked, all right? And it was to keep everybody asleep, not just to keep Jake docile, but to keep the whole world under his thumb. Because Esau is a fucking weirdo like that, right? And could you go to Colossians 2 and 8? This will show you how this devil rocks through his philosophies. His philosophies and vain deceits. Go ahead.
It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after her Mashiach.
Right. So that's how this devil got you, through philosophies, right? Vain deceits. All the word philosophy means is a way of life, a standard of living, right? And this devil's standard of living, he spread throughout the whole world. That's why you have Christians still hung up on Galatians 3 and 28, neither Jew nor Greek. But when you go into the word Greek there, as the brother mentioned earlier in the lesson, is Hellene, right? Hellene, which that's where you get the word Hellenization from, all right? Because we were all Hellenized, not even just Jake. The heathens were also, it's like it. The heathens were also Hellenized during that time period, right? So everybody got fucking Hellenized, man, and fucked up by the Greeks. But when Alexander died and the generals started ruling, especially when Antiochus came into power, the main targets at hand was the main who they targeted mostly was Jake. All right, you get an understanding of that when you read the Maccabees, right? And then could you go to what's the scripture? You quoted it earlier, Job 9 and 24.
Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges. Therefore, thereof, if not, where and who is he?
Right, and that wicked, when you go to Malachi 1 and 4, it's Esau. Right, it's where you got called the border of wickedness and all of this. Right, that's talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed as of 1681 white man. All right, so-called self-proclaimed white man. You know, and who are the judges? The judges is Yahweh Shai, and the Israelites. So he covered our faces up. He covered the images of how we actually looked. This brother actually, Karatazar and his father, in their house, they actually have one of those iconic pictures of King David, how he actually looked, an unwhitewashed version of King David.
How about this?
Right, that one right there. They actually have that on their wall in their home. Before it got whitewashed. Iconoclasm. Now, are they going off for having that image? No, because they're not getting on their knees and saying, "Oh, King David." Right? So you can have images, man. I got images on my phone. Bro got images on his phone of stuff. Hell, you click on our channels. We got images in the profile pictures. Ain't no wrong with having images, man. We're
Yeah,
Jake.
it's okay. I'm gonna add an image for the thumbnail of this video.
Come on, like we're Jake, bro. We're gonna have images. We're artists, right? We're artists. The scriptures in the book of Jeremiah says Jacob is the former of all things. So you don't think we're gonna be? The scriptures also say we're the salt of the earth. You don't think we're gonna be into art and all of that? Fuck out of here. That's Esau being wicked. Creation of images against the first 10 commandments. Yeah, sucker Frank, bitch. This nigga don't know what the hell you talking about, right? Could you go to Revelation 11 and 8 just to back this? Because Esau covered the faces of the judges, man. That's iconoclasm right there.
You said go to Revelation
11 and 8. See, Esau, you're not gonna get away with this, bitch. We got you now, fuck nigga.
It says, and their dead bodies shall lay in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt,
Now
where
those
also
dead
our Lord
bodies,
was
Salaki,
crucified.
those dead bodies are talking about that links directly with Ezekiel 37, right? Concerning the dry bones, the valley of the dry bones. All right, so this is spiritually dead Israelites over here in America. As you see, it says that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. That great city is America. So this shows you that a place can be spiritually known as something. All right, because it's saying this place right here is spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. So for all you nigglets who always want to try to deny and denounce Deuteronomy 28 and 68, this shows you, yeah, that Egypt ain't talking about the actual land of Egypt, bitch. It's not. Stupid ass nigga. A place can be spiritually known as something. I remember the elder apostle Gabar made a lesson on that way earlier this year. Can a place be spiritually known as? That was the title of it. Just type it in, you'll probably find it. Right? And he went into this type of stuff. Okay, so that great city is America. All right, which you got a lot of spiritually dead Israelites. And pretty soon, I love to say this all the time, pretty soon this is going to be literal dead bodies over here in the land of America, pursuing the times that we're coming into very shortly.
Yep, they're gonna be in the streets like dung, as the
Mm-hmm.
scriptures read.
Right. It ain't going to be buried or none of that shit. Right. And then it says, where also our Lord was crucified. Now we know that our Lord was crucified over there in the land. He was crucified very right near Jerusalem, right? So we know Yahushua wasn't crucified here in America. So how could this be talking about America? Well, then that's when you get into iconoclasm. They crucified our Lord Yahushua with iconoclasm. They changed his images. They changed the way he looked. They changed his name to Jesus Christus, all right, or Jesus Christ, Caesar Borgia, Serapis Bitches, whatever you want to say is. It don't matter. They changed his name. They did all this shit, right? So that's how our Lord was crucified through iconoclasm. It's pretty easy to understand. If you can't get it, even through all of this, well, then it's safe to say you're not of the elect, bitch. Now, the scriptures say in the book of Isaiah that the Lord's hand is not shortened in who he can save. So you have a chance as long as we out here preaching. But boy, oh boy, when we off these streets, look out. Look out. Your ass gonna be through. All right, your ass gonna be through. And your ass gonna be grass. Right? So we know Yahushai, according to the book of Revelation 1, verse 13 through 15, according to Daniel 10 and 5 through 6, he was a so-called black man. He will be known if he was here on earth today as a so-called black man. And we know our power, Yahweh, according to Revelation 4 and according to Daniel 7 and 9, was also a so-called black man, right? And we know that the angels, according to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, look like so-called black men because it says it there, the same stuff. So there's no escaping this, man. You can't escape the melanin, bitch. It's everywhere, Esau. No matter how bad you try to change it, they try to make it seem like we're inhumane for being dark and having melanin. No, you bitch, it's you. You're inhumane. All right, you're the one that lack pigmentation. You're the one that can't go out into the sun without wearing melanin on you, because that's what sunscreen is. Sunscreen is melanin. It's artificial melanin. If you put it, I forgot if you put it under a black light or whatever they said, you could see that it's melanin. Y'all niggas have invisible melanin on your body in order to withstand the sun, but we're the weirdos. We're the 3/5 human. How the fuck does that make sense? Nature is completely against you, bitch, because you're the wicked. You're the wicked, man. Nature is completely against you because you're the wicked, but you're trying to make it change everything to make it seem like we're weird and you're the pure. That's why you made that whole social construct of being a white person, because the word white means pure and the word black means evil, sinister, dark, right? That's why y'all did that. And to also prove that y'all aren't the people, when you go into the book of Acts, we were called niggers. We were called niggers. All right. Before we close, I'm gonna grab that. Let me grab that as the last precept, Salakia. I got you. As the last precept. Just to close that one off, bro. Because we were called niggers, quite literally, in the book of Acts, in the ancient Roman Empire, by the way. It says in Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church, now there were in the church that was at Antioch, all right, certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Nigger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, how do you pronounce that, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Right now, when you go into this word, you might come out and say it's a nigger. No, it's a nigger. Let's listen to it. Let's let the fucking man speak.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Fuck that sound like nigger, 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 and it meant black. Surname of the prophet Simeon. A Christian, also derogatory for that, but black, which meant something that was just dark. And they would call them dark. So them niggers. Esau try to throw these words on us, but we've been getting called this bitch. And it was just because we were dark skinned. Right? It was just because we were dark skinned. Now Esau then coined it and tried to make it super duper derogatory now. They were just calling us that because we was dark skinned at the time. All right, it wasn't seen as too much of a derogatory word as it is now. But even though that's still a proverb and a byword that was placed on us. Last time I checked, Esau don't get called nigger. We get called nigger. We were getting called that. It's a reason for that, right? As I keep saying, because our skin look like this, right? Esau try to make it seem like we're weird. I got to say it again. We're 3/5 of a human, right? When uncivilized, Esau had to come and civilize our people. It's just fucking diabolical at the end of the day, right? When you go into the native Indians, the Gadites, and you go into the Seminole Indians, the Reubenites, and you go into the Amazonian Indians, which is from the tribe of Asher, right? That word Indian means savage. So Esau came over here and started calling them savages, yet they were running a well-oiled machine of a society before Esau came over here. The streets were clean. Everything was good over here for the tribe of Gad, Reuben, Issachar, because they were in America too, and etc. Even you had the tribe of Zebulon. All right, the so-called Guatemalans. They were over here too in the land of America, right? But they're all weird and savages and shit. And Esau had to come civilize them. This devil is insane. The nigga is insane. It's like what it says in this book here. The Edomite who wrote this book, he literally said in this book, you niggas are vagabonds, nomadic people who have to leech off others to survive. Because you can't uphold your own civilization. I just seen an AI video talking about Jake somehow getting power over America and sending you niggas back to the Caucasus. Send them niggas back. Yeah, you saw that shit.
Yeah.
Like you, because you niggas can't uphold a society. We taught you how to wipe your booty, and somehow y'all still don't know how to do that to this day. You talk to an Edomite about wiping their ass. This nigga talking about I don't use a rag or no brush or nothing. I just use my hands. I nigga, what? Use your hands? Yeah, then they get to talk about, oh, sometimes I don't even use soap when I get in the shower. What the hell are you getting in the shower for then? They say, I just put shampoo in my head and I just let it run down my body and then I get out. I'm like, what?
Drinks with my dog. I share the same Utensils as my dog.
They be drinking off the water bottle that the dog drink off of. I remember seeing that shit in person when I was a child. Couldn't believe my motherfucking eyes. nigga, dog drinking it, she drinking it. I said,
They're
is she?
troglodytes, man. Caveman.
Yeah,
The wild man, right?
yeah.
We did a lesson on that not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the wild man. You
Them
saw
niggas is
it,
outside
man.
living like beasts.
But they say that there's a mythological creature. Get the fuck out of here. it's a mystic creature. No, nigga, it's Esau. That's what he got called before he got the term white man, or before he placed it on himself. He was called the wild man because he was,
Y'all wasn't even civil.
yeah, just wreaking havoc on motherfuckers, man. You wicked ass, havoc wreaking ass, bitch ass
Oh,
nigga.
I was just making random noises and shit.
Yeah, them niggas.
Weird ass noises.
Them niggas weird.
That's the missing link right there. They talking about some weak
Yeah,
for evolution. You the
yeah.
missing link.
That nigga said we used to be cavemen. Nigga, you used to be caveman. The last time I checked, it say thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. It didn't say we that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. It said thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. It was talking about you, nigga. I ain't dwelling no rocks. Yeah, it's a reason Esau keep getting stuck in these goddamn caves. These niggas go rock diving or whatever they call that shit, where they go into them little skinny ass fucking cave trails. These and then that end up being a grave. It's just always something about them motherfucking mountains and rocks and shit. Esau got to go back home. That's what he do. He loved that place. These devils are fucking through. And that's why when it get cold outside, all these niggas got on is tank tops and fucking booty shorts. All right, because you know Esau be wearing them little ass shorts, them damn booty shorts on at sub-0 degrees. This shit is insane. When we out that bitch, we don't come from them parts, bitch. You come from them parts. You come from the mountain terrains where it get real cold out there, motherfucker. It's I forgot the word. It's a word in psychology that we use for it. But I ain't used it in a while. But y'all have that. All right. Y'all have damn. It is what it is. I got it in this notebook here, but I don't even feel like going into it. But that's what y'all have, bro. Y'all subconsciously, unconsciously are wired to be used to the cold because you come from that region. Jake don't play that shit. When it get cold, Jake out that motherfucker. I seen it's like 40 something there. This motherfucker had a big ass coat on.
Hey, chill out, bro.
Jake don't play about that cold weather, bro.
When I had this jacket on, I had a coat on and a beanie.
Me.
I don't like being cold, man.
Yeah, bro. I don't play about that shit, bro. We come from where the heat is at. All right. It's hot over there in our land. All right, we come from where the sun at. Why? Because we can bear it. We're dark. The Lord knew what he was doing when he made your land the Caucasus Mountains over there, Basra, right? The what's it called in the scriptures? Let me see. Can't think of the damn name. Say it in Ezekiel 35. Yeah, Mount Seir. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, Mount Seir. And the Lord knew what he was doing when he made that your land, because he knew you couldn't dwell where we was at, because you ain't built like that, bitch. That's why when you came out of the womb, Isaac, the first words Isaac said when you came out the womb of Rebecca was, I Shashua. Wasted the fuck away as he. Wasted away as he. You had no pigmentation. You was through. You was through. You're the one that's 3/5 of a human, bitch. And I'm gonna prove I'm moving it down to 1/5 of a human. You just weird. You're not even 1/5 of a human, nigga. You not human. You're not human, bro. And the Lord gonna get you, bitch. We expose you, nigga. Like it's saying 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. It says we're pulling down the strongholds through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Those strongholds are now being pulled down, and we're finally being awoken to who we are as a people. And there's nothing you can do to stop it, Esau. There's nothing you can do to stop it. And you can send a lot of these trash digging ass jakes, these raccoon ass jakes, these moon crooked ass niggas, right? To try to come against this truth, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work at the end of the day. So yeah, that's it though. Got anything else?
So,
Yeah, Lord willing, y'all will edify. This has been the truth about Renaissance era and iconoclasm. Probably could have brought out more, but we got some things we got to handle. But yeah, Lord willing, it was edifying. We want to start close it by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, as always, Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala, Gadol Abadyam, Lababal Hagadol, Yahweh Mahar, Wa Ahabatham. And until next time, Shalom.
shalom.
What do you